New Year's Nightmares. Infamous New Year Incidents. Case 1. Ocala Shooting, Florida. A festive New Year's Day celebration in Ocala, Florida took a tragic turn when a lively block party became the scene of a dreadful incident. On that New Year's Day, 2 lives were lost. Damonta Harris, age 30, and Abdul Hakeem van Croskey, age 24, while 4 others sustained injuries but are now thankfully in stable condition. The clock had just struck 4 a.m. on January 1, 2023, when law enforcement was summoned to what appeared to be a gruesome double homicide.
Shooting happened around 4:30 this morning near Southwest 5th Street. Investigators believe around 100 people were gathered at the time where this all happened. They say a victim was 30 years old, Damonta Harris, and 24-year-old Abdul Hakeem van Croskey. Police are asking anyone with information on this shooting to call Crime Stoppers.
Approximately 100 people had congregated for what was meant to be a joyous block party, unfolding in the heart of the 1600 block of Southwest 5th Street. Okala's dedicated police department promptly responded to the call at 4:26 a.m., swiftly erecting barricades to secure the area. The 2 unfortunate souls who lost their lives in this shocking incident were identified as 30-year-old Damonta Harris and 24-year-old Abdul Hakeem van Croskey. Meanwhile, the 4 others involved were rushed to medical facilities to receive treatment for their gunshot wounds.
2 young men shot dead early New Year's morning, asking witnesses to step forward.
Many families and friends in our community are now dealing with the unimaginable pain that comes with the loss of a loved one.
Law enforcement says the shooting rang out at about 4:30 in the morning New Year's Day, near the 1600 block of Southwest 5th Street in Ocala. Detectives identifying the 2 men killed as 30-year-old Damonta Harris and 24-year-old Abdul Hakeem van Croskey.
As of this moment, no suspects have been brought to light, but the relentless efforts of the police persist as they continue their investigation. To bolster their pursuit of justice and gather crucial evidence, a substantial $9,500 reward has been offered for any information regarding this New Year's Day shooting. Case 2. Durham Shooting, North Carolina. On New Year's Day, a harrowing drive-by shooting unfolded, leaving 5 individuals wounded by gunshot. The victims included 4 adults and 1 juvenile, all of whom fell prey to this terrifying incident outside a Subway restaurant situated on 1000 North Miami Boulevard. Durham's vigilant police force quickly responded to the distressing scene, located within the village shopping center, as the clock approached 2 p.m. Among the victims, 1 adult and the juvenile were swiftly transported to the hospital, their injuries deemed life-threatening, while the other 3 adults sustained injuries that, thankfully, were not life-threatening. The Subway restaurant was bustling with patrons when the drive-by attack occurred. In the face of danger, they reacted swiftly, instinctively dropping to the floor as the echoes of gunshots reverberated. A stroke of fortune smiled upon them, sparing the restaurant's occupants from harm, even as 11 bullets struck the building's doors and windows.
Now, here's a look at that video which shows the drive-by happened around 2 p.m. in front of a Subway on North Miami Boulevard. You can see a spray of bullets hitting the front of the store, and employees are seen ducking for cover underneath the counters. 5 people were shot, an adult and a juvenile were taken to the hospital, again with life-threatening injuries. Police say all 5 victims are now doing okay. Here's where police need the public's help.
Chilling surveillance footage from the Subway captures the dramatic moment when employees and customers alike scrambled for cover, seeking refuge from the hail of bullets. The assailant's vehicle, described as an older model Honda sedan with a dark-colored exterior, was witnessed speeding away, leaving stunned witnesses in its wake. Regrettably, the specter of crime and violence has cast a long shadow over the area, as attested by Sam Elahi, the owner of the Subway restaurant. He recounted the disheartening need to replace windows and glass doors in his establishment on at least 3 occasions. Fears of persistent violence potentially forcing him to close his doors for good weigh heavily on his mind. Case 3. Oklahoma Shooting. Tragedy struck the city of Oklahoma just 20 minutes into the new year, as 1 person tragically lost their life and 3 others were left injured. The heart-wrenching incident unfolded in a parking lot adjacent to Fazler, near the intersection of Northwest 10th Street and Walker Avenue. The city's dispatch center was inundated with a flurry of distress calls at precisely 12:20 a.m. on New Year's Day. Preliminary investigations unveiled that a dispute had erupted within the confines of the Sunset Patio Lounge, ultimately resulting in the ejection of several individuals. However, the conflict continued to fester in the parking lot, escalating to a point where gunshots rang out. Shockingly, the indiscriminate gunfire affected a total of 5 people, including innocent bystanders.
When Oklahoma City police say Daniel Howard was shot and killed after a fight outside a bar near Northwest 10th and Hudson.
I hate the fact that I'm not going to get a chance to see him graduate from college, which he was on track for. I hate the fact that we're not going to get the opportunity to see him be a father, that he, has a little son, and those are the things that hurt more.
First responders at the scene sadly reported the tragic loss of a man who succumbed to a fatal gunshot wound. Meanwhile, 3 others, all suffering from gunshot injuries, were expeditiously transported to a hospital for treatment. The man who lost his life was identified as 22-year-old Daniel Howard.
We heard shots ring out right behind us.
20 minutes after the clock struck midnight on New Year's, Oklahoma City police responded to a shooting near Northwest 10th and Hudson. Authorities found 22-year-old Daniel Howard dead.
When officers arrived, it was a chaotic scene, as you can imagine, and determined that they had one deceased male, and through the very initial stages of this, it was learned that 3 other individuals were shot with various gunshot wounds.
Those 3 individuals were rushed to area hospitals and their conditions remain unknown at this time.
As the investigation unfolded, it became apparent that Jacole Glover, Khalil Warren, and Destiny Adams were implicated in the murder. Consequently, all 3 individuals were duly charged. Authorities asserted that Glover had supplied the weapon, resulting in his charges as an accessory to murder. Warren, identified as the shooter, is now facing a first-degree murder charge, while Adams, who drove the getaway car and engaged in the disposal of evidence, is also charged as an accessory to murder. In exchange for her testimony in court, Adams is anticipated to receive a sentence of 5 years probation. Case 4. Chicago shooting. A tragic shooting incident unfolded in the Washington Park neighborhood on New Year's Day, claiming the life of 1 person and leaving 3 others injured. The victims, aged between 14 and 17, were gathered in the park around 1 p.m. when the altercation took a violent turn.
At approximately 1 p.m. this afternoon, officers had a shot spotter alert in the area of 5637 South Prairie. As they arrived on scene, they discovered a silver Kia at this location with 4 individuals inside shot. Witnesses related that another vehicle pulled up alongside of the victim's vehicle as they were driving northbound on Prairie and fired several rounds, striking all of the occupants of the vehicle.
The initial alert to law enforcement was triggered by the shot spotter technology, a sophisticated system that notifies police when the sound of gunshots is detected and provides precise location details.
Here, those 4 teenagers were sitting inside that stolen silver Kia taken, police say, on December 30th. Another car pulled up next to them, driving northbound on South Prairie near 57th Street towards 56th Street, and fired several rounds into that Kia, striking and killing the teenage driver and also hitting the other 3 teenage passengers.
According to the Chicago police, the sequence of events saw 4 teenagers driving northbound along Prairie in a stolen Kia. They were suddenly confronted by another vehicle, which opened fire on all 4 occupants of the Kia. Tragically, the 17-year-old driver lost his life as a result of the gunshot, while the 3 other occupants sustained critical injuries and were promptly transported to Comer Children's Hospital and the University of Chicago Hospital. It remains unclear whether any shots were fired in return, although the police did recover a weapon at the scene. Unfortunately, with minimal leads to follow, a reward of $15,000 has been offered for any information related to the crime that could lead to an arrest and conviction. As of the time of this recording, the suspects responsible for this heinous act remain at large.
Police say the silver Kia, in which all 4 victims were found, was stolen Friday. That vehicle was still being searched for weapons, and at this point, it's not clear whether there was an exchange of gunfire between both vehicles.
Area 1 detectives are canvassing the area looking for witnesses. They're looking for any cameras and any other information they can get.
Case 5. Columbus, Ohio shooting a New Year's celebration at an adult entertainment club near the Mifflin Township Airport took a tragic turn as gunfire erupted. The chaos resulted in the loss of 1 life, identified as 28-year-old Charles Earl Westbrook, and left 4 others injured, 1 in critical condition. Around 2:30 a.m., a dispute ignited between 2 patrons at the Bucks Platinum Club in the 2800 block of Johnstown Road in Columbus. This dispute escalated, leading to multiple innocent bystanders being caught in the crossfire.
Multiple people are in the hospital after a shooting. Officials say it happened at Bucks Platinum Gentlemen's Club on Johnstown Road in Mifflin Township. Medics have taken multiple victims to local hospitals. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office, Detective Bureau, and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Both the Sheriff's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation swiftly launched a comprehensive inquiry into this harrowing incident. Their diligent efforts helped identify the perpetrator of this heinous attack. On January 3rd, 24-year-old Charles Foster was apprehended and charged with 1 count of murder, along with 4 counts of felonious assault. The altercation began when Foster engaged in a fight with other patrons at the club. Unfortunately, the situation spiraled out of control, prompting the suspect to draw his handgun, a moment that would have unthinkable, life-changing consequences. Tragedy struck as Foster indiscriminately fired shots into the crowd, resulting in the heartbreaking loss of a patron. An eyewitness at the scene played a pivotal role in Foster's identification. Law enforcement officials, after reviewing footage from both smartphones and CCTV cameras, were able to identify another suspect involved in the incident. This marked a significant breakthrough in the quest for justice. 29-year-old Jermaine Westbrook was taken into custody by deputies and charged with 4 counts of felonious assault. According to records from the Franklin County Municipal Court, Westbrook became embroiled in a physical altercation with a group of clubgoers. One of the patrons suffered critical injuries from the gunfire and was rushed to the hospital, while 3 others received treatment for non-life-threatening wounds. Regrettably, violence is no stranger to the Bucks Platinum Club, and what compounds the tragedy is the club's failure to implement adequate security measures for its patrons. In response to this incident, a lawsuit has been filed against the club. Soroka & Associates has initiated legal action against multiple parties on behalf of the administrator of Charles Westbrook's estate, who tragically lost his life on New Year's Day. The crux of the case revolves around the club's failure to uphold its duty of care to its patrons. Shockingly, within just 2 years of its opening, the club has witnessed 9 violent incidents. It is the hope of this lawsuit to enact measures that will compel clubs like Bucks to take the necessary precautions to ensure the safety and well-being of their patrons in the future. If you enjoyed this video, then please show your support for this channel by liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment with your thoughts on this video.